Joining us now is Bill Russell, who is the President and CEO of the Lake Norman Chamber, and we're glad to have you back on the show, maybe get an update on some of the things that have been going on in Lake Norman. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's been almost a year, so I'm sure a lot has changed. I know there was some exciting news about beach access, so let's start with a little bit of an update.
Well, a lot has changed since last year. At this point last year, we all had a great deal of anxiety. We didn't know what 2009 was going to hold, and certainly with the economy, folks concerned about their jobs, not knowing if they were going to have a job. At that particular point, the federal government was getting involved in the banking. We saw them taking over certain aspects of the auto industry, and all of that caused for a great deal of anxiety and concern. But the markets are correcting. We're starting to see some good positive things happen in Lake Norman. We're selling houses again. Yeah. Retail stores are doing well. So again, we're back on that road to recovery, and that's all a wonderful thing.
Are you hearing that across the board from all types of businesses, or are there any industries that are still struggling?
Well, one of the things I think is going to happen, Lake Norman has been a boom for both residential and commercial development. And I think what we're going to see is the commercial was really the last affected. And with residential home sales seeing the first signs of the recession, which actually occurred in December 2007, and then most of us saw it in 2008. But I think what we're going to see is maybe the commercial lag slightly behind before it starts on that road to recovery. And we didn't get into this thing overnight. I mean, it was a long process, and so it's going to be a slower road to recovery. But I think you're going to see that recovery here first. As bad as things have been, in the worst of times, I would rather be in Lake Norman because, again, I wouldn't want to be in other areas of the country that has experienced this. I think they're going to recover much slower than the Lake Norman area is going to recover.
Yeah, well, we had so much growth to start, and people are still moving to this area, and we still got new businesses coming in.
Every week.
Headquarters here, and What about other things that are going on that are affecting the area? What's going on with light rail and beach access and water bills and
magistrate?
It has been an exciting time. Last time we were here, we were talking about the beach access and trying to open up Lake Norman for public access swimming, and we're very grateful and thankful to the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners who overturned that ban. That took a lot of political courage to do that.
I'm sure that was not easy.
So we're extremely thankful to Commissioner Jennifer Roberts and to Karen Bentley and all of the commissioners, and Jim Gorgeous, the Parks and Rec Director, who has been behind that. One of the things that they're doing right now is they're going through the process of designing the various beaches that they are looking at and permitting that. So we would love to say that in just a few months people can put on their swimsuits and go out and have lake access. I don't know that that's going to happen this year, but certainly by 2011 I think we're going to see that. But the permitting process and the design of those beaches is going to take a little bit longer. But,
do you know what areas they're working on?
Well, there were a couple of areas I think that they were looking on at that time. We had talked about Jatam, but I think they looked at Ramsey as being a much better access. I don't know if they're looking at Blythe, but I think Ramsey, and I think there were some beaches at Mountain Island Lake that they were also looking at. So, again, one of the things that Jim was crystal clear about was he didn't want to see just one beach access because that would create too much pressure on one point. But opening up a variety of different areas, and I think that's, again, I know it's going to be a win for the travel and tourism sector, but also from the quality of life sector. There was a lot of folks who just didn't have access, and that was a missed opportunity for all of us here at the lake.
Right, unless you had a boat or friends with a boat.
You pointed out the magistrate issue. That was another issue that we were working on then, and we're still working on that issue. We're working very closely with our law enforcement from Cornelius Davidson and Huntersville, with some of the area attorneys that are working on the issue as well, United Family Services, because of the domestic violence issues surrounding that and quality of life. We're looking at video conferencing as a possible opportunity there, but we're looking at all the alternatives. And one of the things we want to make sure is that we come up with a plan that will not only be effective, but cost effective, and make sure it's a good win-win for the community.
Just to take a step back for the viewers that might not be familiar with the issue, what exactly is a magistrate and why do we need one in this area? What's the issue?
Well, right now we have to take our legal issues to the county down in Charlotte. So if, for instance, there were an issue surrounding the domestic violence aspect that we talked about, if you try to get a restraining order, the actual, whether it's Davidson or Cornelius or Huntersville responding to that, they're actually going to have to go downtown to get the restraining order from the magistrate and then come back up here and then serve it. And by that time, either the issue has escalated,
Right.
or
Which is
maybe
scary.
that particular person has left, and the damage has been done. But we also have to take a lot of our business issues and legal issues down to Charlotte to deal with that.
And we're such a big area here, you would think that we would have that support right here.
And ironically, we had it back in the 70s. There actually was a magistrate in the
Okay.
North Mecklenburg area, but cost considerations or something along those lines, they cut that back. And the budget is just so big. And we all know that we don't have enough revenues coming in to fund many of the services that are required either at a local, county, or state level. And so that's one of the things that we've lost, but we need to replace it.
And now what's another big issue that's on the table this year that the Chamber is involved in?
Well, we were very excited that Governor Perdue got behind I-485 to expedite that. And so instead of 6 years down the line, finally getting that last leg of 485 done, hopefully we're going to see dirt flying here pretty soon. So that's a great thing that the governor got behind and did. One of the things that we were not as thrilled about was just last week, the governor signed an executive order which would allow collective bargaining into the public sector. And of course what that is union activity. And when we start opening the door for union activity in the public sector, it's going to open the door for the private sector as well. And one of the things that's made the whole North Carolina, not just the Charlotte region, but North Carolina, an attractive state for businesses to relocate to open their business or to expand, is because we're a right-to-work state.
Right.
And we don't have to go through the union activity. And so we as a Chamber of Commerce are strongly opposed to the unionization of our public and private workforce. We were disappointed in what the governor did. We understand why she did it, but we need to do everything we can to stem that because, again, that is an important incentive to our business community. We don't want to see the price of government going up. We don't want to see the price of employment for our business sector going up.
Right.